Yeah, okay. Next, we have the Gem Institute. All right, this is also one of my favorite place on the earth. You can see there, we have a group of HRD diamond grading students studying. Yeah, we like to talk about gemology. We like to impart our knowledge, and we do have diploma courses. We have some students here. Hi, Gali, you remember we did the HRD class together? Wow, wow. Now you're all the way in the other part of the other side of the world. We miss you. So anyway, yeah, we can study diplomas here. You can study short courses. It's really fun. My father's vision for the institute is to bring gemology to every living being. Yeah, that's his vision. And because we feel like gemstones is really the key to a lot of history, historical records, and the beauty is amazing. Next up, this is my part of the business. We make gemstone engagement rings in 5H gems and jewelry. We also help families preserve their wealth, by upkeeping their jewelry, by refurbishing them and redesign. And also, we have many gemstones we can add on to their collection, for a special, a special day, a marriage, or recently in October, November, December, wow, so many marriages happening. After the circuit breaker is loosed up, I tell you, the number of marriages are going up too. And we also have 5H Gems Import. This is also another one of my fun I like to do. We supply gemstones to designers. Those of you who are very, very creative designers, leave the gemological work to me, leave the gemstone work to me. We know gemstones like the back of our hands. We have stones, from a few dollars to thousands of dollars. Yeah, doesn't mean you need to have a very expensive gemstone to make a good design. The best thing about gemstones is to bring the value up. Yeah, like, sometimes people look at it, this is just an ugly stone, but the role of a designer is to add value, is to increase the value, make people see, wow, this is beautiful. That kind of heart-wrenching, heart-tubbing beauty of gemstones. Last but not least, the Gem Museum. The Gem Museum is an initiative started by Huiying and I. 5 years ago, we are an accredited museum in Singapore. We're part of the Museum Roundtable. Do you know there are at least 70 museums in Singapore? Wow. You can just go to roots.sg and find out more about the different museums in Singapore. And here we want to be an international platform to bridge the gap between the gems and jewelry industry and the rest of the world. So I'm so excited. Do you know that we are actually bringing our museum online? We are creating a 3D exhibit that's coming to you very soon. So you can browse our museum online and virtually from the comfort of your home. Yes, and admission is free. So come and join us. So without further ado, my dear friend, Andrew, can you come on and share your slides? Yes.
All right. Thank you, Kunming, for the introductions. All right. Let me share my screen first. Okay. All right. So my screen is shared, right, Kunming?
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. So hi, everyone. I'm going to get started. Wow, it's been so long since the end of season 2. I would say it's almost 2 months. 2 months since the end of season. So yes, we did the webinars during the CB period, during where everyone has to stay at home, have nothing to do but serving their phones and computers. So why not we just bring the museum to everyone via Zoom, right? So we created this Zooming into Gems. So today is I would say it's the season 3, and there are a lot of new faces joining us for season 3. Some of the old regular attendees I can see, you may know me, and the rest of them, you may, like what Kunming said, you can go on to our YouTube channel to see all of our previous topics that we have talked about. We have, during the, for 3 months, we have done every single week, different topics. And we have collected so many regular customers over the course of three months time. And yes, feel free to go to our YouTube channel to see all of our zooming into gems. So without further ado, today we're going to talk about the magical gem of Alexandrite brought to you by the Gem Museum. So as Kunming mentioned before, um, it, Kunming and Huiying are the co-founders of the Gem Museum, and myself, the curator of the Gem Museum. And Alexandrite is, from my experience, the first time I see Alexandrite in school, um, it was totally mind blowing. You see, for I never seen a stone that changes color quite like Alexandrite before. And when the first time I see Alexandrite, I was like, "What is this for real?" You see, I assume everyone who's seen Alexandrite would have the same reaction. You see, because no other stone that can color change quite like Alexandrite. And Alexandrite, because of its color change, it has um, it has become a stuff of legends, right? Um, Stuff of legends that everybody love, everybody wants it because not just of its beauty, its color change, it's also because of its rarity as well. Yes, Alexandrite is very rare. For it to have a good, vivid color change and good clarity as well is I mean, it's really hard to find. So as usual, we're going to talk about a little bit of our history, the facts, and why Alexandrite is so popular um, among us. And after the slides, I'm going to pass it back to Kunming for some real life demonstration of the real stuff, the real goods of the Alexandrite, right? So starting off with the story of Alexandrite. Alexandrite is a relatively not an old stone, not like stones like emerald or pearls that have millennium of history. Alexandrite has a short history, no more than 200 years old. Okay, it was found, um, even though it has a short history, Alexandrite of rose through the ranks of among the precious gemstones, the big four like diamonds and rubies, sapphires. Alexandrite has become one of the most desired gemstones right now. So the story began in Russia. You see, Alexandrite was first discovered in the Ural Mountains. Ural Mountains, if you are a gemologist or studying geology, Ural Mountains is one of the um, really important source of a lot of things. Even I would say even now, because Ural Mountains is one of the longest and one of the oldest mountain chains in the world. So having it covered the mass, so much land, this Ural Mountains, of course, it will bear the natural resources. Natural resources useful not just for Russia, it's useful for the world. Resources such as iron, copper, gold, platinum, and even gemstones, right? So the Ural Mountains, yes, there are many gemstones that has been found in Ural Mountains, the rare ones. So with Alexandrite being first discovered in the Ural Mountains, the founder of the Alexandrite, however, is really interesting. So he first thought the Alexandrite that he discovered was an emerald because under daylight, we all know Alexandrite is green, right? So why did he think that way? Is because the Ural Mountains during that period of time in the 1800s were used to be a major source for emeralds. Emeralds that before the uprising of the Colombia and Brazil emerald, Russia is the major source for emerald. So it's no surprising that the founder who mined this Alexandrite thought that it was emerald. So without carrying any suspicions, he just put it in his bag along with few other minerals that he has collected during his trip. And so when he got back home, okay, so he's gonna try to identify the stones that he has collected. So one by one, he started to examine the stone, and when it comes to the Alexandrite's turn, he tested it with a simple test. Usually they will use the hardness test. It's a quick and simple way to um, filter out a lot of options among the minerals because not many stones that have high quality, high hardness like the emerald. So being a major source for emerald, he first used, and he might have used an emerald to rub it against the Alexandrite. So Alexandrite, it has a hardness of 8.5. So emerald has no way to scratch an Alexandrite. So this founder was really perplexed and confused about this unknown stone's properties. So without doing any further testing, because back in the days, they did not have the advanced gemological testing like we do now. We have the refractive index, we have the um, polariscope and all and whatnot. So a simple test of hardness test kind of confused this person. So he just left it aside until that evening under the incandescent candlelit room. The stone, he found out the stone has turned red. So he got even more surprised because emerald does not turn red under incandescent light. And the reason why is candlelit is because back in the days before the birth of electricity, everywhere is using flames, lamps, candles to light up the streets and even your house. So incandescent light really has yeah, more details after this during the slides later on in the slides. So yes, candlelight can make Alexandrite turn really red. So it really surprises this founder. Okay, and upon noticing that it has the ability to color change, he soon confirmed that this stone is a new phenomenal variety of crystal beryl. Okay, crystal beryl. So initially he suggested the stone to be called diaphanite. Diaphanite, okay? So in Greek, it means di means two, okay? And alphanes or alphanite means to appear. So it really makes sense because this stone seems to appear in two different colors under different lightings as well. So time moves on, okay, he proposed this stone to be diaphanite. Unfortunately, it did not realize because uh, eventually this stone was officially named as Alexandrite because in the honor of the then future Tsar Alexander II on his 16th birthday. So um, the name stuck there, and yeah, diaphanite never exists. Now everyone knows it as Alexandrite. So Alexandrite, um, yeah, was named after Alexander, and Alexander II is is the grandfather of the last Tsar of Russia, Nicholas Romanov. So it's not very far away if you think of it. The grandfather of the last Tsar in the 1917. So yeah, and the name stuck there, and everyone knows Alexandrite is named after Alexander II. So why does Alexandra is so significant to the Russians? Not just the stone was named after the Tsar, it was also has the color of the uniform of the Russian Imperial Army, which has red and green. So it's kind of a coincidence because if you look at the Russian flag, it does not have any green, but the army used to have the color red and green. And Alexandrite, during this period of time, it has go through a lot. Okay, um, during the reign of Alexander II, he is a very controversial czar, as what I did my research on. Okay, and Alexandrite kind of represented the reign of the czar because yeah. So the green morning full of hopes. Okay, meaning one of the changes that Alexander brings to Russia is to free the slave, to end the slavery trade, the market. So nobody can have slaves anymore. So the hopes refers to the freedom that he gives to the slaves, the green morning full of hope. And with that move, okay, it kind of angers the people of the Russians. So not just the commoners, the aristocrats, the powerful rankings Russians, they all dislike this order, you see. So that led to a lot of protests, bloody protests, in fact, and thus the red signifies the bloody evening of revolution. So um, the end of Alexander, in fact, ended in his death. Okay, one of the assassination um, was succeeded upon him, so he kind of yeah left in blood, in bloodshed. So um, anyways, so Alexandrite, having go through so many incidents in Russia and this glamour, this celebrity status, it is still the Russian national gemstone. Okay, national gemstones. Many other countries have their own national gemstones too. Like um, opal is Australian's national gemstones. I'm not sure about your country. We have a lot of people attending from different countries. Belgium, do you have a national gemstone for Belgium? You can just put it in the chat for us to know. Yeah. So further on, we are going to learn about the facts about Alexandrite. Okay. So Alexandrite, we all know now, is a phenomenal variety of crystal beryl. So before the discovery of Alexandrite, crystal beryl was already a known, it's already a well-documented mineral. Okay, crystal beryl most commonly found in its yellow to green appearance, and but it's more famous for its cat's eye. Okay, we did have webinar that talked about cat's eye crystal beryl in June. So if you're interested more about cat's eye crystal beryl, you can go to our YouTube channel to watch that video. So a little bit about cat's eye crystal beryl is, among all cat's eye gemstone, it has the top hardness among Chatoyan gemstone at 8.5. Okay. The second point about cat's eye crystal beryl is the chatoyancy of the cat's eye crystal beryl is the most distinct among all. It has the sharpest line. It has the most straight line. Yeah, you name it. So the third point is it has this one-of-a-kind milk and honey effect. So I'm sure some of you know milk and honey. Okay. As for the non-phenomenal variety of the crystal beryl, usually comes in yellow, but it can also comes in a yellowish green gem. So although it's the color range is not wide like many other gemstones like sapphire and spinel, it the point about this the plus point about this non-phenomenal crystal beryl is that it is not usually treated. Why? Because crystal beryl is usually they are not responsive to any treatments, heat, radiation, or annealing. Some may do, some may not. I'm not going to say always or never. So yes, as far as I know, crystal beryl is not usually treated. All of the colors are natural, and it is, if you talk about hardness, crystal beryl is the third hardest gemstone we know, behind diamond and corundum. So it is a plus point. So the finding of alexandrite really gives an edge to the crystal beryl, because crystal beryl alone is not very well known among the public, but alexandrite, it just boosts the status of crystal beryl itself. So as you can see, the left is the cat's eye crystal beryl. It can come in a various body color too, and on the right is the yellow crystal beryl. So when we come to the chemical composition of crystal alexandrite, you can see it has somewhat similar to the emerald, whereby both require aluminum, beryllium, and chromium to form. So if you think of it, it's really, really similar because aluminum and beryllium are both essential elements for them to crystallize, whereas chromium is the trace elements that gave them their color. Okay. The only difference is Alexandrite is an oxide mineral and beryl is a silicate mineral. So you might think, why do they have almost the same chemical composition, but why crystal emerald does not have color change? That is because of the difference itself. One is oxide, one is silicate, and that although the difference is not much, it's just one single reason of that difference. This alone can create two distinct mineral. They have different crystal structure. They have different, maybe slightly different chemical properties, different refractive index, different density. Yeah, everything is different about these two distinct mineral. So we're going to talk about the color change later on. So for now, we're going to see the origin of the Alexandrite. The original source of Alexandrite in Russia is thought to be exhausted, and so does the best Alexandrite. And the Alexandrite first discovered in Russia displayed the best of the best color change no people have ever seen. So that alone, it has created a fuss. It has created this craze among the Russian too, so that everybody wants to have one Alexandrite. So that demand has led to the sources in Russia to be exhausted, although it has a few more deposits here and there. But the last significant production year of the Urals was back in 1970. And like I mentioned before, the reign of the Tsar ended in 1917 on the hands of Nicholas Romanov, the grandson of Alexander II. So since the sources in Russia has exhausted, um, very few people has seen very good color change in Alexandrite since then. Although there might have a few more sources that has been continuously producing Alexandrite, but very limited in volume. So that created this some kind of mythical status to the best Alexandrite from Russia. Um, so other places right now, as of now, Sri Lanka and Brazil are the two of the major sources for Alexandrite. Although they are being labeled as the major source, quantity still remain scarce, and the quality also incomparable to the Russian Alexandrite. Quality in terms of the color change, the base hue, the base color of the Alexandrite, and of course the clarity as well. So Brazil, they have, of course, Brazil, they have dug up some of the finest, some of the fine Alexandrite that have been circulating around the market. Some have even been to auctions that had displayed a vivid coloration and color change too. But most of the time, Sri Lankans and Brazil, they have these color modifiers that affects the vividness of the color, the base color. So for the green side, under daylight, the modifiers that can be found are blue, brown, and yellow, whereas under incandescence, you can find modifiers such as brown, purple, or pink. So for the top quality Alexandrite, what you want to see is the pure green under daylight and the pure red under incandescence. But whereas for those Alexandrite that comes from these two countries, or many few other countries that I didn't mention here, they would sometimes have this modifier that kind of play around with the base color. For example, the picture on the left, you see the green, there is a little bit of a yellow. So on top of the green. So it's a little bit yellowish green, whereas under incandescence, it looks like a totally brown gemstone instead of a red. So that is from Sri Lanka. I'm not saying all of them are like that, but most of them are. So the picture, whereas on the picture on the right is Alexandrite from Brazil. And Brazilian Alexandrite, they usually have this blue modifier to it. Same like emerald, they have this blue overtone. So bluish green or greenish blue, and under incandescence, they can look more pinkish and purple instead of red. And to be honest, all of the Alexandrite we see now, the good ones, they all look purple under incandescence, right? So we can now only dream of seeing a real Russian Alexandrite. I never seen one before. Maybe you do. So good for you though. And here are some of the mines. Okay, the Alexandrite mines in Brazil. In Hematita, Hematita is one of it used to be a well-known Alexandrite producing mine in Minas Gerais, Brazil. So as you can see, the picture on the right, they are excavating hills of overburden. So those, if you notice, those are loose soil. They are not the hard rocks like the primary deposits are. So they are. It's much easier to go through all the sands because all they have to use is an excavator instead of explosive, like the emerald where they have to use explosive in underground. You see, and in to extract the emeralds from the hard rocks. This is much simpler. All they have to do is dig up the soil, hoping that they hit some of the Alexandrite deposits, and they'll just filter in one of their washing plants, like the picture on the left, where they have running water and everything, separators and whatnot. So here is a picture of Sri Lankan. They are more primitive. Why they are more primitive is because of the Sri Lankan government actually restrict the miners to use heavy machineries. Why? Because it's to preserve the landscape and the environment. Because digging by hand has less impact on the land. So what you can see on the top right is what they'll do is they'll create this shallow open pit up to a waist height, and they'll just sift through the soil underneath, hoping to find some rough Alexandrite or maybe other gemstones along the way. So the picture in the middle is they'll use, which is a more common method where they'll dig shafts to go deeper underground. To go deeper underground, hoping that they'll hit a gem bed, um, yeah, full of gems. And the one on the right is most likely is a shaft as well under the hut. So you can see water is pumping out from the shaft to prevent flooding. So these methods are still being used even until today. I would say it's a really good move by the Sri Lankan government to prevent heavy machineries. So there are cases where some of the countries where they allow heavy machineries, even in their backyard, the miners would just bring in machineries to dig up all of the soil and surrounding soil, and the deposits quickly exhausted, and it's really not a wise move, to be honest. So yeah, kudos to them. So now we're going to talk about the phenomenon. Okay, it's a really interesting phenomenon, one of a kind um, phenomena in gemstone. So everybody knows Alexandrite is they have this phenomenon called color change, but it can also be known as Alexandrite effect. So although it's not being used very often today, um, this term is used a lot back in the days they where they where the commotion of the Alexandrite is still really hot. Okay, just imagine if I put it in the modern term, okay, when Justin Bieber just created this baby song, and everyone was saying the baby song. So that is what they call the Bieber effect. Okay, And really, when people find out the magic of the Alexandrite in Russia, everyone was crazy about them. So the crazy because of their vivid coloration from green to red, because nobody have ever seen it before. So that's what people call the Alexandrite effect, because everyone knows what Alexandrite is back in the days. Okay, classic Alexandrite changes from green under daylight to red under incandescent light. Um, Color change does not apply to pleochroic gems. So pleochroism is a term where we use to describe as gemstone that can look how to say that have different colors under different viewing directions. Okay, it either can be dichroic or trichroic. Okay, dichroic means you can see two different colors under two different direction, whereas trichroic, you can see three different colors under three different directions. For example, Alexandrite is one of the trichroic gemstones. Okay, although it is not as visible in the rough stage, some other trichroic gems such as tanzanite, okay, is a really popular trichroic gemstones right now, only found in Tanzania. It has a strong trichroism. It's really visible when you turn the stone or even the rough of the tanzanite around to see different colors, right? Other stones such as iolite is another trichroic gemstone. And so pleochroism does not count as color change. So that makes only a few, I think less than a handful of gemstones that have color changing ability, such as the sapphire and the garnet. Okay, these two are the more common color changing gemstone behind Alexandrite. So although color changing sapphires are not as vivid as the Alexandrite, usually the colors they change from under different lighting condition are, it's really hard to differentiate, because imagine a stone, the color changing sapphire changes from purple to violet. It's not a complete change of hue, unlike Alexandrite from green to red. It's a complete change of hue. Okay, so that's what people like Alexandrite the most. And the reason why Alexandrite has this perfect color change is because of the chromium. Chromium within Alexandrite is responsible for its color change. And how it acts, this phenomena is when the chromium inside the Alexandrite crystal structure absorbs the purple and yellow wavelengths and emits green and red equally. If you see the picture at the bottom right as a reference, so this is the spectrum where gemologists use to identify stones sometimes. Okay, so you can see this is for the wavelength of 400 to 700. As you can see, there's two black bands right here on the left from 400 to almost 460 and the 550 to 600. So this is the complete absorption of the purple and yellow wavelengths in Alexandrite. So what after it absorbs, it will emit the wavelengths of the green. Where's my cursor? Okay, the green and the red wavelengths right here. So when under different lighting conditions, such as daylight, daylight contains more blue-green wavelengths that results in a green Alexandrite, because when it goes into the stone, the Alexandrite will reflect the green and blue wavelengths back to us. So that's what our eyes capture the color. And under incandescent light, it contains high levels of red wavelengths that makes the Alexandrite looks red. So same logic, when the light goes in, it reflects red wavelengths back to our eyes. So when you talk about a light that has perfect balance of spectrum, Okay, when you shine it in the Alexandrite, we would see green due to our human eyes are more sensitive to green. This is a very complicated process of how our eyes and brain works by seeing colors. So, but anyways, the chromium is the ones that is responsible for Alexandrite. So what about the chromium in emerald? Okay, emerald has chromium too. So I do not have a picture, but what I can show you is the spectrum of the chromium, the absorption spectrum of emerald. This band right here, okay, the emerald is less intense. You can still see the color behind the this black band behind of the emerald. So um, also another reason behind this color changing is because the chromium, there is occurrence of a small scale replacement of chromium and aluminum ions inside this alexandrite. Is totally out of my league. I'm just saying what I remember from a research, so hope you will learn something about this. So the best light source to view an alexandrite is obviously for green, you might use daylight best from morning to noon, not evening daylight, because evening they started to have this green wavelength. As you can see, when the sun sets, the sky turns red. So that is the red wavelengths of the daylight. So morning to noon, or even fluorescent light, okay, fluorescent light. And for the red side of the alexandrite, you may use incandescent light, um, better known, more suitable for when you use tungsten. Tungstens are kind of say about to extinct kind of light bulb because now everyone is using LED and fluorescence. Tungsten is it generates more red wavelengths compared to the LED and the fluorescence. So, or better yet, you can use a candlelight or even a lighter to view the alexandrite. I'm telling you, it makes a full difference when you use a flame to see an alexandrite. So, yeah, go try if you have an alexandrite to to see the redness that provided by the flame. So the fame and the celebrity status of Alexandra is and you cannot doubt its popularity. It's so popular among the Russians during its first discovery that it has been mined extensively to depletion, like I mentioned before. So only a pocket of deposits where they producing limited quantity of alexandrite even now. But all of the ancient sources of alexandrite has been depleted, um, as what we know. So the scarcity and the popularity comes together to make alexandrite one of the rarest yet highly desired gemstones um, in the world. So as like you can see, so at the bottom of this picture is alexandrite from Hematita, Minas Gerais, one of the major sources right now for alexandrite. It's been sold in Christie's, the auction house Christie's, for Singapore dollar of 1.26 million in 2012. Well, in my opinion, I think it worth more because based on the picture itself, it has a good color change. Although it's not perfect green, not perfect red, but the color change is a complete color change from green to maybe blue, greenish blue to pinkish purple. And the clarity itself is based on this picture is quite good. Okay, it's quite good, and yeah, you don't see many stones like this. And not to mention, it's 15.58 carats. It's huge, right? And not to and to say the least, it's a two-in-one gem. Okay, the color change of the finest Alexandra is so dramatic that it has been described as emerald by day, ruby by night. So it's as if the owner of the stone has two gemstones in one. So emerald and ruby is two of the most precious gemstones as of now. And this term, emerald by day, ruby by night, is still often being used to romanticize alexandrite to this day. So imagine giving romantic term to your wife or husband, really, he or she will just love you to death. All right. And last but not least, here's a bonus slide, the cat's eye Alexandrite. Yes, cat's eye Alexandrite exists. They are so rare. If Alexandrite is rare, then make cat's eye Alexandrite double the rare. In fact, it's so rare I can't find any information about cat's eye Alexandrite. I'm just putting this slide out of my head, you know. But I do know that cat's eye Alexandrite is that milk and honey effect is possible. Okay, although it may not as visible as the cat's eye crystal beryl, but sometimes the good ones you may see milk and honey. In fact, I would say here you may say is a little bit of a milk and honey effect, right? On the left is a little bit transparent and lighter, where compared to the right you can see a little bit darker. So maybe it's maybe milk and honey in Alexandra is like that, you see. And one such specimen was sold in Sotheby's, Hong Kong for just a merely 359,000 Singapore dollar in 2007. So to me, again, in my opinion, I think it can worth a lot more for the fact that they are so rare. I never seen one myself before. I never touched one. I hope Kunming has one to show you all. So okay, and yeah, it's a 10.25 carat. It's not a small stone as well, from Russian origin as well. So to summarize my long slide, yeah, sorry for the long post. Okay, Alexandrite is named after the Tsar Alexander II of Russia. And Alexandrite is one of the rarest gemstones because the elements of beryllium and chromium rarely occur in the same geological condition, resulting in its scarcity. Okay, and the hue and color change are the most important quality aspect of Alexandrite, followed by clarity. As I mentioned before, it has to be a complete color change, and the base hue must be, of course, people desire the vivid green and the vivid red. So the hue and the color change are the most important aspect in Alexandrite. And finally, use your daylight or incandescent light. Best use a flame to see the redness of the gem. So to help to see the green and red hue of the gem respectively. Yeah, so that is all for my slide. I really hope you enjoy this. Wow, I've never done this in a long time and I'm quite thirsty. So thank you for listening, and please catch us next month. Yeah, we're gonna do once a month from until the end of the year. So I'm gonna pass it back to Kunming to show us some of the goods that he have. Right, over to you, Kunming.
Hi everybody. Wow, thanks a lot, Andrew. And just now you were talking so much about the Russian stone. I went to ask my dad to give me some photographs. Yeah, he actually visited Melashivo, this place where they find Alexandrite and also emeralds. And he visited, there's a museum there. And here you can see in the photograph is a portrait of Tsar Alexander II photo and also a rough Alexandrite from Russia measuring 8 by 9.5 cm, named the Miner's Fellowship. Yeah, wow, look at that. So, and then I show you, this is inside the vault where they showcase emeralds and Alexandrite collected from the Ural Mountain region. It's in Ekaterinburg, the Ural State Mining University. So you can Google that up to find out more. And yes, look at that color change of the Russian Alexandrite in matrix. You can see it's almost red. So my friends, you know, when you think about red, sometimes you think of rubies, sometimes you think of red diamonds or red garnets. Do note, the red color looks different for each gem. So don't expect to see a red ruby in Alexandrite or maybe a red ruby to look like a red diamond. They look different. So do calibrate your senses and adjust your expectations. This is my father going into the mine, and yeah, you can see them going into the mine. You can see a lot of black color, or what do you call it? It's called the schist. So you see a lot of schist when you find emeralds and also Alexandrite. And look at the bottom, you can see Alexandrite changing to purple color. It's amazing, so amazing. So I'll let you know before I show you my gemstones, real life stones. We have upcoming events. We are going to open officially on the 21st of November. We're opening hours is from Tuesday to Friday, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Due to safe management measures, please book before coming. Give us a call, drop us an email, or Facebook us, and we will get back to you, because we have a limited amount of people that can be in the museum at one time. And we have also the next Zooming into Gems. Wow, if you like this, please comment and give us a like on our Facebook, and also follow us on our YouTube channel. It's happening on the 18th of November, 7:30 p.m. It's natural glass. Wow, you have glass such as obsidian, tektite, desert glass. Can you believe it? This all made in the nature. So join us for the next Zooming in Gems. And of course, we have our junior rock stars. If you have children, now I know it's exam time. Today, there's tomorrow the last paper for my daughter and my son. So after that, woohoo! It's a holiday. So those of you parents who are thinking of giving something to do for your kids and learn some gemstones, sign them up for our physical classes. I think the limited packs each session is up to about 5 or 6 packs. And it's on Mondays, 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. The dates are here: 23rd November, 30th November, 7, 14, 21, and 28th of December. So for more information, just Facebook message us or look us up at our Facebook page, the Gem Museum. And we do have one that is super long awaited. It's the Crystal Appreciation Workshop, and we're going to do it via Zoom on the 11th of December 2020. It's $68. It comes with a treasure box of 3 gems. And so do sign up for this one too. It's going to be fun. We learn about the 7 crystal systems, what are how to appreciate crystals, in this manner. All right, so now I want to show you some gemstones. Are you ready to see some gemstones? Okay. All right. The summary. Oh, you want to see the summary? Yeah. Lydia, we'll post up the summary later on. We put it maybe on our Facebook page so that people can have a summary. Yes. And hi. So, okay, I'm going to show you some gemstones now. Keep the questions coming in. And let me just show you some Alexandrite. Those of you who are, ta-da! We have some Alexandrite here. And you can see under natural light. Okay, this is like LED light. This is, one of those round tube lights that we have. I see if we can show. Okay, it's too bright. So I have a 5-carat stone here. This 5-carat stone is from Sri Lanka. One of the challenges of Alexandrite is the color, when you show on the screen, because our eyes look at color very differently. You can see on my screen is a little bit yellowish. You can see a tinge of red, because surrounding my museum, there are like reddish lights also. So you can see this is a 5-carat Alexandrite from Sri Lanka. It's pretty nice. You can see the color shining, And I'm going to whip up my torch. So those of you can see my torch. All right, this is an incandescent light bulb torch. I tell you, you cannot buy it anymore in Singapore. You go to all the shops, they only sell LED lamps. I had to buy this. I had to ship it in from Bangkok. Can you believe that? So, see orange color. And here goes. Wow, look at that. See the purple coming out, the left-hand side. See that? Wow, look at that. So you can see yellow, a bit of brownish, reddish. At different angles, you will see the colors switching. See that? Look at the pink. Yeah. Wow, look at that. So this is a 5-carat Alexandrite from Sri Lanka. Let's look at the back. See the reddish color. Let me take away. Whoa. And just now, Andrew was saying, use a flame. So, whoa, dangerous. I don't want to burn my camera. So let's see what happens when you use a flame. See the color. Look at that color. The red. See the red. I'm careful not to burn my stone. But you can see the reddish. See the color of the red. Oh, look at that. See? Wow. Oops. Hot. Oof. Smoke. Oh no, I burned my hand. Okay, next one, I want to show you an Indian stone from India. Okay, Indian stone. Andrew, help me look at the chat because I can't really see because I'm focusing on this. So help me to answer them, and you can do commentary also. Yeah. So this Indian color, Indian stone from India. And you can see the color is very bluish green. It looks like a Brazilian stone, but it's from India. And color change wise, let's see. Whoa. See the color, see the purple. Wow, look at the purple. See the purple? It's amazing. Yeah, look at that. And one stone in the middle, this is a 3-carat stone. Okay, I bought it from a dealer that sold me his from Sri Lanka. But I have a feeling this stone is from Madagascar. Not really a Sri Lankan stone because it looks slightly different. Stone is very clean, full of life. And see, it's full of life. And you look at the color change. See, it's really nice. Very nice color change. Look at that. So one thing about Alexandrite is the color change is very crucial to the value. If it doesn't change at all, it's just like chrysoberyl, just trying very hard. Some people, they try to use Photoshop to dupe the reports to make it look like Alexandrite on the paper. But of course, you want to look at it at the real life that is really changing color. Let's try our trusty lighter. Hope I don't burn myself again. Look at that. Look at that. Wow. Look at that color. See? So those of you who are selling stones here, get a lighter. It helps a lot. But be careful, don't burn your stone. All right. So these are some of the Alexandrite you have. I want to show you another stone. Is chrysoberyl. This is what it looks like if it doesn't change color. There are some, it's just yellow. So the value of a chrysoberyl is like, I don't know, 10 times lower or 100 times lower than an Alexandrite. Yeah. So a lot of times people the cutter, I think he would try his best to cut it in a way that it can change color. This is one of my observations is that color change, the chromium, it appears in the seams of Alexandrite. It's not like the whole stone has the chromium. It has a certain like a color zoning like in sapphires, in the Alexandrite. And the cutter just have to make sure at the pavilion there is the chromium, and wow, the whole color, the whole stone will change color. So I want to show you, if I apply my light to this guy, does it change color? Nope. Sorry, it's a chrysoberyl. How about Alexandrite? Is this Alexandrite? Oh yes, look at that. Look at the color change. See that? Wow, wow, wow. So nice, huh? How about this one? Oops, nope, no change. But chrysoberyl, one of the rare ones are the golden ones. The one that's a honey color. Honey color. Last but not least, this one is funny. It has some green. It's really little bit of green, but it's not enough to call it Alexandrite. It's a 5-carat. Can you imagine if this is Alexandrite? Wow. Valuable. And this is the stone I want to talk about. This has a seam in the middle of the stone. You see the color change? Okay, yeah, you can see there's a dark, like a middle of the stone. There's like a blackish color. That's actually, I think it's the chromium. You can see, if you see at a certain angle, it doesn't change so much. But okay, online it changed very much. But in real life, certain angles, you don't see the change so pronounced. Yeah, if you shine the light like from the top, it gives you a very nice red color. Yeah, but you have to, you see that? So where you put the light, it does affect the color. All right, so let me see. I want to show you, this is a cat's eye alexandrite. Cat's eye alexandrite, yes, it's rare. Although one of the biggest market for cat's eye, I think, is Japan and also Indonesia. So, you know, recently there's so much things going on. The demand has gone down tremendously. But yeah, these are the major markets. So you can see the change. Yeah, if I have to, yeah, let's see the change. And the cat's eye. Yeah, see the cat's eye, and then the color change. Yeah, normally cat's eye, if you need to set it in a ring setting, then the color change will be more profound because you cover the back, you know, and then the color change will be more profound. So it's beautiful. You try to adjust it. See the cat's eye. See the cat's eye. Wow. Yeah, somebody asked. Brian asked about whether is there like a star alexandrite. Well, in nature, no, because the needles only go in one direction. Yeah, not like in it's due to the crystal shape, and also, yeah, only in what do you call it, in sapphires, there's star sapphires, star rubies, due to the crystal structure. And does having a cat's eye make it more valuable? Well, yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, for gemstones, it's a willing buyer, willing seller, because it's so subjective. So, you know, at the end of the day, like just now you can see in Sotheby's, there are certain prices. Even Andrew was saying, right, that certain pieces are like undervalued. Yeah, because, you know, it's one of a kind, and yeah, it's one of a kind, but everyone can only pay so much. So that's one of the challenges, you know, because it's so rare. When you want to part with it, you want a very high price, of course, you know, because it's rare. But when somebody buys it, you know, there's only there's a value difference, because the person who wants to buy it doesn't want to pay so much. So that's where the fun of buying gems, you know, is, you know, the negotiation, and, you know, especially when the sum is a huge amount. Yeah, I'm going to show you another, it's not alexandrite, this is a cat's eye. So this is another variety of chrysoberyl. So this is about 34 carats. Can show you the line. Yeah, just want to give you all an overview of chrysoberyl. So this is a cat's eye. Yeah, it's not alexandrite, but it's a cat's eye. Okay, let me see, what do we have here? We got many questions, people asking, a lot of chats. Wow, thank you, Andrew. Enjoy the present. Okay, happy here. What name you use? Oh, the Gem Museum, the Facebook page, Gem Museum. Sharon Lowe. Not all. Yeah, how does the gemologist determine color change chrysoberyl? Is alexandrite or just chrysoberyl? I think the key is how much the change. If it's a pronounced change, to date, what I know is that we go by a visual observation, and if there is a change, because alexandrite is rare. I guess if it's more than 50% change, you can see the red coming out. Yeah, then we can call it an alexandrite. Next session. Wow, from Brazil. Wow, you have wonderful gemstones in Brazil, Minas Gerais. And then, wow, amber is national gem of Poland. My dad did a talk on amber. You can check it out too. All right, looks like blue tourmaline. Yeah, it looks like blue tourmaline, but a very expensive version of blue tourmaline. Okay, let's go to the questions. I want to find out from JH Yo. Anyway, thanks a lot for all the questions, and I want to answer them now. JH Yo, I want to find out how to buy a good grade gemstone. Please share with us. Andrew, what do you think?
Depends on what kind of stone that Yo is looking for. Because every stone they may have different grades, right? Coming.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess basically you want to buy a beautiful gemstone. We have a course, a short workshop on how to buy gemstones. We have not chose to run it yet, but the three main things are basically the quality, authenticity, and the beauty. So this is something that we always struggle, the value. So value, authenticity, and quality. So a lot of times people struggle with this because you have your grandfather gave you a stone. He says it's the most valuable stone, is worth $100,000, but then you don't have you're not sure what's the quality and whether is it a natural stone or a synthetic stone. So value, authenticity, and quality. These are the three main things. Leonasi Mcdut, do you buy rough Alexandrite? Well, not at the moment. Recently, we've seen a lot of rough, lower quality rough that are opaque in the market. Yeah, I guess one of the value of gemstone is the beauty. And in terms of the color change, there is color change, but it's almost opaque. So I guess rough Alexandrite, yeah, I think the quality plays an important part. Last but not least, JHU, I think I know some answer. The color change may be very marked on top of the 4C. Yeah, that's right. So the 4Cs are the carat weight, the color, the clarity, and the cut. So on top of it, because it's a phenomenal gemstone, the phenomenal plays a very important role. So you're right. If the color change is very strong, some Alexandrite I have seen recently change from brown, like brown to yellow. Okay, I mean, I'm not such a fan of that color, so it's not my taste, but maybe you like it. Maybe some people like it. So yeah, it's a very personal stone, and there's not many stones out there actually. So to each his own, to the beauty of the eye of the beholder. It's really that, yeah, because my gemstones are beautiful. Gali, I didn't color change garnet and color change sapphire take place due to the fact, price, and availability. Yeah, I mean, color change garnet is also very rare. Yeah, it comes from Bikili. It's in Madagascar. It's beautiful color. It looks almost like Brazilian Alexandrite, bluish green, and it changes to purple. Yeah, that's really amazing. And color change sapphire also is very amazing because I have seen one. I missed this one about almost 10 years ago. I saw a pink sapphire, a blue sapphire, and when you put in the incandescent light, poof, it changed to pink. And at that time, I thought it was too expensive, so I didn't buy the stone. So until now, every time people talk about color change sapphire, I will think about it. So yeah, it's a relationship is tough. Yeah. Andrew said the beryllium and chromium rarely occur in the same gem. So does it exist in other gemstones other than Alexandrite? Andrew?
Oh, so yes. As far as I know, there's only occur in emerald, right?
Yes.
Do you know any other gemstone that have beryllium and chromium?
No, beryllium, actually, yeah, I know only beryllium, emerald, and chrysoberyl.
Mm.
Yeah, and beryllium is very poisonous. So how the Thai people actually found out that they can actually treat gemstones was because they left their sapphires together with emeralds. I think, or was it chrysoberyl, and then he threw a cigarette butt in his shop, and the whole shop caught fire. At the end of the day, he lost everything, but he gained more beautiful gemstones, more beautiful sapphires, because the beryllium will actually enhance the look of it. Yeah, let's see. Lydia asked, between color change and size, which is more important? I would say color change. Yeah, I was reading a book the other day. I think it's by Yahazuka Suwa, and it's talk about Alexandrite. I mean, not just about the big size, but really the good color change. To find one that is maybe 10 points with fantastic color change it's really beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. So I guess, Lydia, I think go for top quality. Don't have to go for top size because The moment you get a big size, beautiful gem, wow, the value goes up tremendously. But as a collector, I would say collect the gemstones. As long as a good color, it's a small, it's okay. Many Japanese people, they collect smaller stones, but the quality is fantastic. Oh, somebody asked, can Alexandrite be synthetic? Of course, there's synthetic Alexandrite going on in the market for a long time. I think it's hydrothermal, right, Andrew?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Hydrothermal and pooled Alexandrite.
Wow. Yeah, it's very nice, beautiful color too. The other day, my father was just going through his treasure box and we found a synthetic Alexandrite. And yeah, it was beautiful, green to perfect purple. Yeah, I haven't seen one that totally red. I have seen natural stones that turn totally red. Yeah, normally these kind of stones, they have to have a certain size, large enough. Yeah, and also normally the clarity is very low. Yeah, so because of chromium, so when the Alexandrite has a lower clarity, it catches the light more. I guess it has more chromium, therefore the color change is more profound. Yeah, I think I was in Hong Kong, I think 3 or 4 years ago. I was at, I think, uh, Al Rosa. They had a branch, a Russian, Al Rosa, they sell diamonds. They have a branch also selling Alexandrite. So I managed to get 1 or 2 Alexandrite from them, but most of them were very low in clarity. Yeah. Is Alexandrite normally treated or tends to be more natural? Oh yeah, it's actually there's no known treatment for Alexandrite other than oiling, because I mean oiling you can oil any gemstone, but for heating, no, you don't have that, because you heat it, I think you turn to gas. Yeah, that's how they get they treat sapphires. Yeah, and beryllium is very poisonous. You get one, the next moment you're knocked out and you're in another world. Yeah, so my friends, I thank you very much for all the, wow, I have a good collection. Yeah, Lydia, collecting gems is really fun. I guess now with internet, you can take photos and post them on a blog and write about them. Yeah, it's amazing. There's always somebody looking out for something. That's how I started my business in Far East Gems and Jewelry. I started a blog, just take photos of my gemstones and yeah, just be frank and be straightforward. Don't ask too much for the price and enjoy the company. One of the beauties of the gem world is meeting people from all over the world and becoming friends and enjoy the beauty that God has made in all the gemstones. Yeah, so okay, my friends, thank you very much. Facebook page. Okay, please search the Gem Museum on Facebook. Okay, the Gem Museum. Yeah, so answered live. All right, so yeah, thank you very much for joining us. See you again on I think it's the 18th of November. Thank you very much for joining us. Visit us on our webpage, the Gem Museum Gallery, or even come and visit us physically. Oh yes, thanks Andrew for the Facebook link. Yeah, so amazing. So yeah, do send us questions. Ask us about gemstones. We really want to we want to answer the questions as much as possible, because gemstones are really beautiful and the beauty intrigues everyone, and therefore there's a lot of ideologies, a lot of theories, and a lot of misinformation too in the market. So we just want to clarify them and create a safe place for people to learn and enjoy gemstones and appreciate gemstones. Yeah. So thank you very much, everybody. Feel free to exit and join us for the next session. Yeah, we watch out for our Facebook page. We like to engage people through Facebook. Okay, maybe it's because of my age. I mean, apparently I'm not so young, but okay lah. I like to engage people with Facebook. You can put more photos and comment stuff like it's very fun. Yeah, so do follow us on our Facebook. Give us a like, follow, and YouTube channel there too. Just follow us. Yeah, and if you has any crazy ideas, just drop us an email. We would love to explore. Once we did a glowing gemstone exhibition. It was really fun. Maybe we can do a color change gemstone, a color change gemstone exhibition. Wow, when we put different lights in the place and let people just play with lights, Oh, that would be fun, man. Yeah, using green lights, blue lights, purple lights. Wow, then you start to see color change in a whole new level. So I will just keep talking and you all can just exit. Yeah, just give us more ideas. Andrew, what do you think? How do you feel after doing the whole presentation?
Wow, I learned a lot more about Alexandrite. Yeah, to appreciate more. Wow, really. Yeah, maybe one day Alexandrite will gone forever. So you better appreciate now.
Okay lah. The Lord has created this world with a lot of gemstones, more and more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a beautiful stone, full of mystery, a lot of stories. So I heard somebody liked your sharing on the history just now. Yeah, it's a very good sharing, Andrew. It's
Thanks.
fantastic.
Thanks.
Yeah. So wow, we still have people joining us. Yeah, you feel free to leave. But anyway, please do give me an email for upcoming sessions. Yeah, just a Facebook message us Philome on the upcoming sessions. Just Facebook message us with your details, like your email address. Bettina, thanks a lot. We really enjoy talking about gemstones. Yeah, just once somebody asked just now to collect small gemstones. Actually, I like that idea. Andrew, what do you think?
Small gemstones.
Yeah, instead of you buy big stones, you buy small ones that are but very high quality,
Oh, I think that is actually a very good way to start your collection. I mean, not starting big to depends on your budget.
Yeah.
So yeah, someone like me definitely will start small. I mean, you have to start somewhere. So small is good. Small is not a bad thing.
But what do you think about because you see when you collect gemstones it costs a lot of money. What do you think? Like, is it a good hobby?
I think depends on how much you love gemstones. Um, as for me, I think I would pay the money if I really like something. So um, if I really like it, I definitely will splash the money. Really, seriously. And then once I bought it, when I put it into a collection, I'll just look at it whenever I'm free or whenever I feel sad. It just makes you happy when you look at something so beautiful.
Wow, that's great. And Andrew, why not we just go live on our Facebook and just let people know we just finished uh, the whole thing, post Alexandrite webinar thoughts. Okay, and then let people know since we are at this, we have already set up the whole thing. So my friends, those of you who are still with us, we will just broadcast until we feel tired. Yeah, so Andrew, I think maybe you want to share with us the last page, the summary.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
just now somebody asked about the summary about the Alexandrite thing.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So hang on for a